Okay, so as Napoleon forgot to give the right to all the classes, there were still some classes which were unhappy with Napoleon's rule, and actually Napoleon brought in a very nice democracy, but at the same time, what happened was Napoleon increased the taxation system because when you develop a democracy, you need financial economic support to develop it, and if you cannot, then the democracy is a failure. So people, some inside was still a little unhappy, and even Napoleon actually eradicated the idea of religion and all. So that made the things more unpleasant for the people. Yeah, as Napoleon was defeated in 1815, then came the idea of conservatism. Now, conservatism was the idea to that is conservation. Okay, so they wanted to conserve the idea of having monarchy, the idea of having the churches, the idea of having the parliament, the basic noble idea of family, of owning properties, of God, of religion, and that religion was the topmost priority of a country, and the religion also and the culture defines the country. So all these ideas were later developed. However, these aristocrats still believe that whatever Napoleon did was actually for the betterment of the people. So now, what they did is they also made sure that the democracy existed. So there were aristocrats with a little democracy. At the same time, there was abolishment of serfdom and feudalism. Now, you ask me what serfdom is? Peasants were not treated bad. Peasants were given their equal wager, and feudalism is allowing them not to have equal rights. So even peasants were now treated equally as a normal men. So that is what conservative time came in when Napoleon fell. Then came the Treaty of Vienna. You see, the Treaty of Vienna was actually between these four countries: the Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Austria. They draw up an agreement, that is the Treaty of Vienna, when they defeated Napoleon. What they said is basically, we will actually fight France, push them back, and stop France ruling over other places and to bring democracy all over. Instead, we will have our own aristocrats ruling with a little democracy and give the people what they need. However, the idea of democracy was still not that nice developed, and we will still see some issues happening over there. But this was the idea. Now, Napoleon actually did not form the nation known as Germany. He put Germany into 39 confederation states, and that was a big issue because now these states were all people who were speaking German. Were they not? But they were not put into one roof. So we'll see the issue of Germany later. Now, next comes is the rise of the revolutionaries. We'll talk about Giuseppe Mazzini. Now, Giuseppe Mazzini was a young, what we call it, revolutionary. Okay, he was an Italian, and he rose up in 1815. He formed one of the first young liberal movement. He formed the parties of young liberalism. He hated the idea of people's rule, aristocrats' rule, and he was not at all happy with conservatism too, because conservatism, face it or not, okay, now the kings are ruling, democracy is there, but still, why is the king ruling when we can vote our own ruler? Okay, so that is what happened. Then came the age of revolutionaries. You see, there was sudden increase in people's ideology. 1830 to 1848, people got more education, people got to know what is happening around the entire world, and they changed their idea. There was this group of elites, teachers, professors who knew education well and understood the idea of equality, liberty, fraternity. And they went up and fought against the world, fought against the rulers, went against the aristocrats. But there happened an issue. What happened was these people went onto the streets to revolt. And July of 1830 saw this middle class elites actually marching up and doing some various issues. So you can see that the people were not still happy with conservatism. Okay, so that is what takes us next to the Ottoman Empire. Now let's talk about the Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire was the one developed, ruling the other parts of Europe and as well as Middle East. It was an Muslim empire ruled by Osman the First. He had various treaties with the European nations. He had strong dominance. He was having strong territories, and his idea was to develop and establish this Muslim empire throughout the entire world. And Greece was one of these countries which actually was, let me show you where Greece is. You can see, okay, so there's Greece. You can see it falls all under the Ottoman Empire, and that is what people did not want to do. Like the Greek people were still unhappy with what was happening. So you can see the Greek people actually started revolting against that too. So you can see various revolutionaries starting happening. Teachers are fighting, professors are fighting. That is from France, that is from Austria, that is from Germany. At the same time, people from Greek who were in Ottoman Empire, even they started fighting. And it was a saying, okay, it was a saying that they said when France sneezes, the rest of the Europe catches cold. That means if something happens in France, it affects Europe somewhere or the other. You see, French Revolution started in France. The idea spread around entire Europe. Everything that happened in France, literally in the 18th century, went on and spread in the entire Europe. And that is what France was known as. Now let's talk about Greece. In 1821, Greece fought against the Ottoman Empire to establish a newer Western culture. You see, Greece has a different philosophy. Greek people come from the Roman or the Sparta ages. They have a different mythologies. They are one of the oldest one. They wanted to have their own ideas, their own religion. However, the Ottoman Empire forced Muslim Islam beliefs, and they did not want to do it. So they successfully defeated the Ottoman Empire and actually brought in Greek back again onto its 2 feet. And you'd see even the poet Lord Byron organized funds and all. He was a very great poet. He organized funds to fight in the war. He himself fought in the war for Greece, although being a Greek but living in UK. He later died due to fever in 1824. The Treaty of Constantinople was signed. Now, this treaty was said that the Greece will be an independent nation, that no other nation can actually impose its rule. Then, whether it be Italy, whether it be Spain, whether it be the Ottoman Empire coming from Turkey, no one has the right to do so. Now, let's talk about the romantic and national feeling, imagination and national feeling. In the time of 18th century, when all the people were struggling, all the people were actually coming to known to the fact that there is an idea known as nationalism. People had to be actually given the spirit from the inside. These artists made sure that this was happening. They drew various paintings, they drew various wrote various poetries, they did a lot of stuff. This photo you see right here, this is an island in Greece which was attacked by the Ottoman Empire, by the Turkish rulers. And that actually showed the people that how bad can it get, how worst can they feel when it comes to dominance by some other country. You can see also that give the idea that there has to be a use of vernacular languages. Uh, when France actually imposed its revolution all over the world, there were many Austrians which did not speak the Austrian language anymore. There were many Germans who stopped speaking German and started speaking French, sorry. And there were many Italians who actually forgot Italian and knew French much more better. So the idea was to still keep the original language intact. That was the little language. Now even Polish was in dominance of Russia all the time, but they somehow managed to make sure that it is not anymore. So today all the countries are secular, but at that time they actually struggled due to the less strength. Then came the time of hunger, hardship, and popular revolt. All these countries, which are actually trying to compete, become stronger, started developing all these policies of having mass production. That led to many people coming to the cities, and that led to many people getting jobs and also losing them. Because you see, many people actually did not get rights like they wanted. And even though conservatism came, there was a king of France known as Louis Philippe. Okay? His idea, what he did was basically, he did not maintain the government nicely. He did not actually take care of the economic system. As a result, what happened? The government economic collapsed, and as he was to be blamed, he fled from the scene and ran away. Also, there came various other things. There was a competition of British to find new nations. As you all see, they even set up colonies in India. The aristocrats wanted to increase more and more, what we call it, import and export to have their strong dominance in the European country. And then suffrage was allowed to male.